watching Gravitas. US President Donald Trump shoved aside his polarizing image with a call for national unity in his maiden State of the Union address earlier today. He talked tough on terror and identified his nation's challenges, but while targeting terrorism, he forgot to mention Pakistan. Here are the highlights.
It was his first State of the Union address, and President Donald Trump made the most of it. In an 80-minute speech, the second longest by an American president, Trump touched on all subjects that mattered to an America divided sometimes by his own pugnacious tweets and policies.
Each day since, we have gone forward with a clear vision and a righteous mission to make America great again for all Americans.
It was a theme that dominated much of his speech. Trump gave a call for a new American moment and bipartisan support to his efforts to rebuild America and its infrastructure. Through most of the hour, Trump harped on tax reforms, removing regulations, healthcare, reviving industries and creating jobs.
Since the election, we have created 2.4 million new jobs, including 200,000 new jobs in manufacturing alone. Tremendous numbers. After years and years of wage stagnation, we are finally seeing rising wages.
And it was in this context that Trump flipped to the next chapter: immigration and unfair trade deals. The theme was the same: America first.
America has also finally turned the page on decades of unfair trade deals that sacrificed our prosperity and shipped away our companies, our jobs, and our wealth. Our nation has lost its wealth, but we're getting it back so fast. The era of economic surrender is totally over.
On immigration control, Trump defended his four-pronged approach, offering citizenship to dreamers who meet the criteria, securing the border through a wall, limiting the entry of immigrant family members, and ending the visa lottery program.
It's time to begin moving toward a merit-based immigration system, one that admits people who are skilled, who want to work, who will contribute to our society, and who will love and respect our country.
Trump listed Iran and North Korea as his country's enemies.
We need only look at the depraved character of the North Korean regime to understand the nature of the nuclear threat it could pose to America and to our allies.
He named China and Russia along with rogues and terrorists.
Around the world, we face rogue regimes, terrorist groups, and rivals like China and Russia that challenge our interests, our economy, and our values.
Trump dwelt on terror towards the end of his long speech, but there was no mention of the terror mothership Pakistan. The US president promised to complete the task of eliminating the ISIS. Significantly, he also announced a reversal of former President Barack Obama's proposal to shut down the infamous Guantanamo Bay detention center.
I just signed, prior to walking in, an order directing Secretary Mattis, who is doing a great job, thank you, to re-examine our military detention policy and to keep open the detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay. I am asking Congress to ensure that in the fight against ISIS and Al-Qaeda, we continue to have all necessary power to detain terrorists wherever we chase them down.
The State of the Union was American showmanship at its best. Among the audience were heroes from hurricanes and wildfires to the war against the ISIS. There were stories of hope and a survivor of the North Korean regime giving the speech its emotional high points. In a break from tradition, Melania Trump arrived separately at the venue. That seemed the only deviation from a carefully crafted script. Bureau Report, WION.
So are the claims by US President Donald Trump facts or just hot air? We did a fact check of our own and this is what we found.
Many car companies are now building and expanding plants in the United States, something we haven't seen for decades. Chrysler is moving a major plant from Mexico to Michigan. Toyota and Mazda are opening up a plant in Alabama, a big one.
President Trump said in his State of the Union that car companies have been opening or expanding facilities in the United States since he became president. The president's timing is off. He's right that car companies have been opening facilities in the U.S., but that's been happening for many years, including Hyundai and Toyota facilities that opened before he became president. Trump also took credit for a Chrysler plant that he said was moving from Mexico to the United States. In fact, Chrysler is moving production of some trucks to the United States, but the Mexico facility will stay open, making other vehicles.
Under the current broken system, a single immigrant can bring in virtually unlimited numbers of distant relatives.
In reality, the long wait would make that nearly impossible. As of November, there was a wait list of 4 million people looking to get family-based visas to enter the United States. So it's unlikely that one person could bring in an unlimited group, as Trump suggested.
We are now very proudly an exporter of energy to the world.
President Trump took credit for boosting energy exports, saying that the United States is now an energy exporter. The United States has long exported energy to other countries, but imports even more oil than it exports. U.S. estimates say that the United States in the coming years will become a net exporter, but that date hasn't come yet.
I am proud to report that the coalition to defeat ISIS has liberated very close to 100% of the territory just recently held by these killers in Iraq and in Syria.
The true picture of what's happening in Iraq and Syria is gloomier than the president described. It's true that ISIS has lost almost all of its territory, but Syria remains racked by civil war, and much of the country remains controlled by Syrian President Bashar Assad and his forces. Security experts say that much of the progress is due to efforts the United States started during the Obama administration.